Throughout the summer, Democrats cruelly blocked COVID relief legislation in an effort to advance their extreme left-wing agenda and influence the election. Then, a few months ago, Congress started negotiations on a new package to get urgently needed help to the American people. It's taken forever. However, the bill they are now planning to send back to my desk is much different than anticipated. It really is a disgrace. For example, among the more than 5,000 pages in this bill, which nobody in Congress has read because of its length and complexity, it's called the COVID Relief Bill, but it has almost nothing to do with COVID. This bill contains $85.5 million for assistance to Cambodia, $134 million to Burma, $1.3 billion for Egypt and the Egyptian military, which will go out and buy almost exclusively Russian military equipment, $25 million for democracy and gender programs in Pakistan, $505 million to Belize, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Panama, $40 million for the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., which is not even open for business, $1 billion for the Smithsonian, and an additional $154 million for the National Gallery of Art. Likewise, these facilities are essentially not open. $7 million for reef fish management, $25 million to combat Asian carp, $2.5 million to count the number of amberjack fish in the Gulf of Mexico, a provision to promote the breeding of fish in federal hatcheries, $3 million in poultry production technology, $2 million to research the impact of down trees, $566 million for construction projects at the FBI. The bill also allows stimulus checks for the family members of illegal aliens, allowing them to get up to $1,800 each. This is far more than the Americans are given. Despite all of this wasteful spending and much more, the $900 billion package provides hardworking taxpayers with only $600 each in relief payments. And not enough money is given to small businesses, and in particular restaurants, whose owners have suffered so grievously. They were only given a deduction for others to use in business their restaurant for 2 years. This 2-year period must be withdrawn, which will allow the owners to obtain financing and get their restaurants back in condition. Congress can terminate it at a much later date, but 2 years is not acceptable. It's not enough. Congress found plenty of money for foreign countries, lobbyists, and special interests, while sending the bare minimum to the American people who need it. It wasn't their fault. It was China's fault, not their fault. I am asking Congress to amend this bill and increase the ridiculously low $600 to $2,000 or $4,000 for a couple. I'm also asking Congress to immediately get rid of the wasteful and unnecessary items from this legislation and to send me a suitable bill, or else the next administration will have to deliver a COVID relief package, and maybe that administration will be me, and we will get it done. Thank you very much.
Whoa, Trump. Well, using social media, did he go exclusively on that? Unbelievable. This guy is working it, man. What a scam this is, man. $2.4 trillion. And how much is going in the pockets of the actual Americans with cash? Yeah, Vito is right, man. This is getting ugly and messy, and the Democrats are padding this so-called crisis with billions of slush money for their friends. Unbelievable. Is this real life, man? Is this real life? Is this really happening? $2.4 trillion with foreign aid. $1 billion to the Smithsonian? The Smithsonian gets $1 billion in funding every year? Are you kidding me? 62% of it's federally funded, apparently. What the hell? In my country up here, Canada, Ontario just went in full lockdown as of Boxing Day for 28 days. In Canada, we are at 4 times the positive tests with half the deaths that we had in April. April was our spike. For you Americans, yours seemed to be June. Your spike in deaths didn't seem to correlate with the peak of infections. It was a little bit staggered. But in Canada, we're at roughly 6,000 infections a day. In April, when we had 200 deaths a day, we're at 2,000 infections. Yeah, we're 4 times the infections with just over half the deaths, I think. Can we just say we're doing okay with this? Why do we have to lock everything down and break the backs of private small businesses? Your $600, you're in Canada, the CERB or the unemployment or whatever they extended does not replace your income from your business. For what? The lockdowns kill far more than the virus does. In my town, where Grant LaFleche is a reporter for the local, what is it? It's not even Sun Me. What is it now? Who owns that crap? The St. Catharines Standard. Yeah, sorry, I had CNN on there. That's not fair. Yeah, crying about our 100th death since what? January? 100 deaths? Dude, we have 450,000 people. How many people would have died anyway? Oh my God, man. What up, Ren? I don't recognize North America anymore. You know, the Liberty started to go under the guise of 9/11. Security. Homeland Security. A whole new division of bureaucracy, heavily funded. And in Canada, they're coming for your guns now. While Justin Trudeau trains Chinese troops in old army bases to fly commercial aircraft. What? Does that sound a little bit familiar? Speaking of 911. Wow, what do you train? China is the enemy, dudes. Oh, man. I don't recognize North America anymore. My heart goes out to you guys in the States. Thank God the burning and the rioting and the murders stopped or calmed down at least a little bit. But on January 6th, you're going to have millions of Trump supporters descending on D.C. And if you listen to Alex Jones, well, I don't on the regular, but he was on with Tim Pool. I had a couple great shows with Tim Pool recently. I love Alex Jones. He's nuts, but love Alex Jones. He's entertaining. He's bright, intelligent, well-read. He's got so much freaking info, too. And you know what? These conspiracies end up being true a lot of the times. How long ago was he talking about Pedo Island? And guess what? He even had some of the actors that would be implicated in it way back. I just tweeted something from Trump from 2014 that said, if we found life on another planet, the United States would be sending them money in no time. Go see my interview with Jeff Dornick and other stuff, wherever you can find it. I'm being censored faster than I can create new channels and accounts. I'm still on Facebook. Today, I had on Ryan Lunn. Good conversation. He got really vulnerable about something I didn't know he suffered from, autism. And he said he didn't know that he had it until he was like 30 years old. And then he played a song. He demanded a break. He said he had to pee. So I had to juggle to a commercial. fumbled all over the place as I tried to play producer. And then he came back and played a tune that he wrote 27 years ago when he was 18. He's 45 now. Is that the right math? I don't know. I'm going by memory. I can never remember my interviews. And yesterday, I spoke to Frank Soda. Now, maybe you don't know who Frank Soda is. Back in the day when Lee Aaron, the Metal Queen, was big. Back in the early days of Max Webster and Rush, there was Soda Man. I spent 1983 or 84, New Year's Eve with that man at the Welland House Hotel in St. Catharines. And, yeah, he blew up his head, man. And then he told the story about the first time he blew up his head and the gunpowder or the flash powder sprinkled down inside the globe that he was blowing up. And his eyebrows never grew back. Good conversation with Frank Soda. If you're watching on Periscope, apparently I still have a Periscope account. But at Jim Fannon is suspended and probably gone, terminated. So I will share this at Jim Fannon Show until they catch up with me there and suspend me there. Too bad. 11 years. I got a strike one time for telling somebody to fall down and bump their head. Violent speech. So, anyway, wherever you're watching me now, Fake Book, what up, D-Live. YouTube, we're broadcasting as Trew.Tube on YouTube. I didn't know Trump was coming out with this. I just saw it come across my Twitter feed, so I jumped up and thought I'd carry it and then piggyback on the end of it with my thoughts. And sometimes people watch. Try to be here Thursday nights at 7 p.m. EST. I don't always fulfill on that because, well, I don't have the headspace for it these days, it seems. Good conversation with Ryan Lund today if you want to get down with a local Niagara artist that just hit it. Embers is making a worldwide impact. Yeah, he got picked up by indie radio or something, and they're putting him all over the place. And he's getting some major airplay from it. So it was good to get caught up with Lund. He's played one of my gigs down at Sessions on the River before. Talented guy. Talked about the songwriting. Talked about his issues. Being on the spectrum of autism. And it was a good conversation. And then Frank Soda. Mr. Soda to you. Frank Soda came in yesterday. And wherever you're watching this, you should be able to just search Jim Fannon Show Live and come up with some old interviews. Had Max Bernier on recently. Where's the Trew.Tube? Oh, no, not the Trew.Tube. We went to YouTube. And this is where you can find us on the YouTube channel. Trew, T-R-E-W. This is it. Hey, I'm up to 122 subs. I got my vanity plate now, so if you go to youtube.com/Trew.Tube, Trew, you will find it. Let's see what else we got. We carried some. What else have I got? Joseph J. was a good interview. Leo David Diorio was good. Jeff Dornick. Oh, and here's one you need to watch. Jeff Dornick was good. Michael Johns. This one got 50,000 views on Twitter within 2 days. He was a good conversation. He talked about the whole electoral process, and I'm pretty sure he said that Trump's got the argument. He's got the constitutional argument for the Supreme Court. He's got the evidence, and that the Supreme Court of the United States of America would refuse to act and have the political courage to do anything about voter irregularities, the fact that the states changed and violated their own constitution by changing the way the election was run just before the election. You're not allowed. That is against the constitution. It's against the state constitution to change the way people vote. That needs to be passed by legislature. I think it needs to be passed by the populace. It might have to go to a vote. Either way, they broke the Constitution. And when I summed up to Michael Johns, I said, are you saying that he's got the constitutional argument and he's got the evidence, but that the Supreme Court would lack the political courage and will to do anything about it? And he said, yeah. Anyways, that was an interesting little interview I did with Michael Johns, and he's bright. He was the co-founder of the Tea Party in the States and a speechwriter for Bush Sr. My conversation with Max Bernier's up there. Atheism is Unstoppable was a hell of a conversation. And you know what the best part is? You don't need to look at either one of our faces. It's all audio. Because here's Atheism is Unstoppable. Halfway through. This is his gig. This is his character, right? His caricature. And so as he only appears as this blinking CGI graphic, he doesn't do live video. So you only get to listen to us, which is much better because I've been not putting myself on camera for a long time now. You don't need to see my mug, man. There's no reason for it. Oh shit. Anyway, peace, love, hug your neighbor, and get that mask off your face. It's a dirty, filthy diaper.